It's been about a month since the last devlog. I have made quite a lot of progress, I might say, going from this to this. And honestly, I think it's a whole lot better. Let me show you all the improvements and things that I have added, the things I've changed, and maybe let you know where you can pick up a very early access version to this if you wish to support me and the game that I'm making. Let's get into it. So here we are in the main menu. This hasn't really changed at all. This is still the same thing as before. I have the options menu. The graphics quality is a little bugged right now. It doesn't properly set the default there, but you should be able to change your full screen, etc. in here, apply it. That should all still work. And the only difference is the tutorial. I have removed kind of everything here to the right because I have reworked the actual kind of mechanics of the game. It no longer has blood pools where you have to absorb them to get more powerful and versus the enemies getting more powerful. You felt it was slowing down things a little too much, where you'd want to fight things quickly and then stop to absorb it. Or you'd be like fighting something and then you don't have time to absorb it and just someone walks over. It just didn't seem fun. And that's the main thing I want to do. I want to make sure that it's fun. So the only thing I have here is now the controls. Of course, this is all going to be changed later. And you can see I have pause menus. Blocks is now a new thing, and we'll get into it. But it does support controller and keyboard and mouse. One menu does not support controller as of yet, and we'll get into that shortly. Let's go ahead and just hit start. Now, it will take a moment to load in the game. And here we are. And I'll be using a controller here, or I can just move around, right? And I can attack. I can dash. So that is now a new thing. I don't believe we had dash last time. And I can block. And I can block in all directions, pretty much. And when I say all, I really mean 8. Of course, this is a directional animation, but the block angle, based on where you are, as long as the angle comes in from about 170 degrees, almost a full 180 from that side, you will block it and take no damage. Right now, I do have the new improved pause menu. So here, if I move the mouse to the left, I can see my stats and just have the basic stats for now. Critical chance, stun chance, knockbacks, my speed, damage, and health are all here. And on the right is a new thing called collection. As you progress through the game, if I get out of the menu, which can only be gone out of with tab right now. It's tab to come in on a keyboard and tab to get out. I have not added in the way to get it out of the menu. Note for myself. Got to add that in. But the main thing is, you see down below, you have now an experience bar down there. And so as you level up, you'll get power-ups as options. So let's go ahead and kill some enemies. You need to be careful because you can actually fall down to your death. So down there, you can see this is all part of the same level, and I can jump down here and I'm fine. There's no fall damage, but I need to be careful because as I take damage, it's going to be very difficult to get out of here. In the top left, you might have seen that it said the words open. When you kill enough enemies in a room, the doors will open. And we've also added in, as you see, enemies can jump around. And there we go. So we got our first choice of power-ups. So every time you level, you will get a choice of 3 random power-ups. You can choose one of them. They will not repeat at the current moment. So you have to choose. Whichever one you choose, the other 2 will be gone forever. I think there's a little bit over half a dozen right now. I think there's like 6 or so power-ups total. So I think you get 2 fully random. And after that, when you run out, it's all HP from there, which gives you max HP and temporary HP. If I go ahead and select one, let's say I want extra critical chance for the extra damage. Or actually, let's go knockback. Knockback, we can use the environment then to knock enemies into the holes. So let's go knockback. And now if I hit tab, and go to my collection, I can see what I have picked up. It says get extra knockback, and here you can see my knockback amount has increased as well. Let's go ahead and show that off. So now I can go ahead and run over. I can go to the new room, and if I hit enemies, you can see they now fly quite a bit further. You want to be careful, of course, because this is a too tall room, which is fine, but there are some rooms that have areas where you fall in and die permanently. And that's the same thing for the enemies. And the main thing I want to point out is you do see all the levels kind of below. So you see the levels kind of to the sides and below. So it kind of gives you a nice visual of what is going on. Now, the orbs that currently fly out currently heal you for 2 HP a pop, and they randomly spawn. But aside from that, there's no way of healing at the current moment aside from these orbs and from the actual power-up HP. Okay, so here's 3 new abilities that have popped up that we've leveled up. So we can get crit chance again. This is a air blade. Spawns a blade that travels forward, hitting enemies on every attack. So if I select this one, every time I attack now, we have now kind of a ranged extra hit from whatever way I am currently attacking. So if we go in here, I can start hitting enemies from a distance, and it will hit enemies all the way through. So even if enemies are hiding behind, it will still go ahead and hit them. So it's very powerful. Of course, I want to have more abilities like this one, which are very fun. And as you see, if I come back here, the door is now open because I've killed enough. And let's go all the way to the next room. But as soon as it closed behind me, I can't go back out because I have not killed enough enemies. Now, all of this, of course, needs to be figured out in terms of balancing. With this, we should be able to now make a lot better progress through it. Now, I want to make sure to block a lot more than I do. I have bad difficulty blocking, but it removes all damage currently. So I can get temporary invulnerability, so every 60 seconds I get 5 seconds of vulnerability. Could be very useful, but I want to go with the knockback. I'll try knocking one of these guys kind of into the void there. If I or they fall in, of course, they die. And here's the boss. Now, the boss is a little different. If the boss falls in, they don't die. But as you see, I fell through, and I did indeed die. So you see, it's actually quite a lot different than where it was just a month ago. And I've been working on this part-time, just after work. It's about 3 hours, I think, an evening after work, where I go ahead and just make progress with you guys on stream, because it's great motivation to continue working on it and get feedback, ask questions. You guys can ask questions you have. I get to ask some help along the way as well when I get stuck, because you guys are that good. But as you see, every time we launch a new game, we go ahead and generate a brand new environment. So here's a new level entirely. And you can see these blue walls are just that. You cannot go past them. Even if I try to jump, they're invisible walls. They're mostly short, just so we can actually see through them. The orange one, like the one you see in this room right here, you can actually jump over just fine. But, of course, I also risk myself falling in. Now, if I had knockback, I could potentially knock an enemy in there and they would die, of course. But as soon as I have enough blood spilled, I can go through. So the plan right now is to kind of flesh out the mobs and the mechanics for this. And then it's going to have multiple floors, and each floor will have its own theme. So, for example, maybe this floor will be a dungeon theme. The next floor might be a forest theme, maybe more of like an underwater theme for one of them, right? We can have fun with different themed levels, and that's also going to be an indicator of how far into this place you're going and how deep. But you see some things are still left over from them before. The score above is still ticking down. As you defeat enemies, you do get more score. There you go. One of them fell in. And so let me pick up Airblade again, because it is currently the most powerful one. And we can go ahead and knock these guys out super quick and continue on. So if you guys want to try this game out for yourself, again, it is currently very early, but if you want to try it, see how it is, I would love some feedback on this. It would be awesome. I have added in 2 more Patreon tiers. Now, one is just for the early access to the packages of this game, if you want to support me there, and another one for everything I had to offer so far, including the project files for the tutorials and this game, as well as a live Patreon chat. If you don't want to join the Discord, for example, we can always chat there as well. And of course, thank you so much to the current patrons who support what I do. It really means a lot. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, I'll start trying to put at least one a month up on the Patreon, where you can go ahead and grab it, try it for yourself, give any feedback you'd like, and we can go as a community, have a bit more input in the direction this game goes. Yeah, I'm very happy with the progress I've made this past month. I hope you see a big improvement as well. And thank you guys for supporting me so far. More tutorials next week as always. But if this looks cool and you're kind of curious where this game originally started out and what it looked like originally, then check out this video here to see how it looked like from the game jam, just a 2-week game jam.